Hey everybody, it's Wayne here to get you a weekly update on all of my portfolio action. As you guys know, every week I give you a rundown on all the dividends earned, give you a summary of the purchases made, take a look at the portfolios and how they're performing between M1 and Robinhood. And then I also talk about all the premium that I was able to generate. Guys, admittedly, this is going to be heavy on premium because this week I actually implemented a few strategies. I got some new stocks here that I'm investing in. We made some purchases. So let's go ahead and kick things off with dividends. Not any dividends to report on the Robinhood side. However, for the week of May 8th, I did receive 3 dividends from M1 Finance. You can see here Lowe's on the 10th paid me out $4.39. ADC, a monthly payer, paid me out $1.13. EPD paid me out $30.78. So not too bad. I'll give you guys a final tally, but I do expect this month to be closer to about $1,000, guys, in passive income from dividends received on M1 as well as Robinhood. As far as portfolio value goes, we'll go ahead and kick things off with M1. You guys can see here, currently the balance is $123,000. Relatively uneventful for the week. I finished just slightly down, about $144. That's 0.12%. Remember, when you look at the portfolio view from this view, looking at even the all, it's going to factor in things like dividends, purchases. So one of the things that I look at is I will go over to holdings, and this will give me a true value on all of my positions. Currently I'm down just 3.8%. That's about $4,800 and an unrealized loss. My cost basis is $128,000, but the value for these 46 positions is $123,000. All right, let's give you a quick view at Robinhood. Currently, the total portfolio value is $380,000. Similar to M1, we didn't have much of an eventful week. I am down 0.12% or about $438. So I would say for the most part, I'm relatively flat. As you guys know, I am a Robinhood Gold member, so I am receiving 4.65% APY. Nice thing about that is they pay out those monthly interest payments on a monthly basis. So right now, I have about $1,500 that's earning me 4.65%. Now you might say, Wayne, I know you have more cash in there. Remember, if you are selling cash secured puts, and this week I sold a lot of cash secured puts, you are only going to be able to gain or earn interest on your uninvested cash. That would include cash that's not tied up by cash secured puts. Let's go ahead and give you a breakdown of how much of this $380,000 is going to be cash versus stocks and options. And again, this is going to look different from last week. I think last week I had close to $70,000 in brokerage cash, and I talked about that amount is always going to fluctuate, and that was certainly the case this past week. One of the things that I'm always doing is withdrawing cash as I need to do so to pay bills, to pay taxes is really the big one. And one of the things that I am currently working on is funding both my wife and I's Roth IRA. So if we take a look here, this week was relatively big for me. I am going to be creating a new series in which I am going to show my funded Roth IRA, which currently is about $12,000 in value, and then I'm going to show you my wife's funded Roth IRA, which is also $12,000 in value. So that cash had to come from somewhere, and so the bulk of it came from the cash that I had in my brokerage account. And you can see currently my balance is about $25,000. Again, a significant chunk of that $25K is being used for collateral on the cash secured puts that I write on a weekly basis. Stocks and options, I'm at about $354,000, so about 90+% of this total portfolio value is stocks and options, and then a smaller percentage is dedicated to cash. If you guys may recall, I have $100 per day deposited to my M1 account, and then I am making purchases 5 days a week. So $500 is being deposited into my M1 account. Truth be told, I have not deposited any cash into my Robinhood account in several months. I've been able to keep the cash flow elevated by selling covered calls as well as cash secured puts. And then I've also had a few positions in which I have sold out, and some using that cash as well. But on a daily basis, I am investing in Aflac, UPS, and Costco. And you can see here $10 to Aflac Monday through Friday, UPS $10 as well, and then Costco slightly more at $20 a day. Let's go ahead and take a look at UPS. As you guys know, I have a goal this year to reach 100 shares, and we've seen the share price of UPS fall pretty nice, where it is a great time to take advantage of these falling share prices. Now, right now, I should say, a total of 65 shares, but this number has gone up quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. Now, my average cost is still higher than the current share price of 168. So my average cost is 182.67. So it's been nice to average down as I make my way to 100 shares. Let's go ahead and scroll down, giving you guys more information beyond the $10 per day. And a while back, I had set some limit orders. A limit order is when you tell your brokerage, hey, if the share price falls to this or it reaches this price, then go ahead and execute an order of 1 share, 2 share, 3 shares. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these limit orders. On May 10th, the share price fell to $169.99, and I was able to execute an order of 2 shares. Now, before that, it's going backwards, right? So before that, the share price hadn't quite fallen to the 169 level, so I did buy 3 shares at 171.99. You can see here, guys, if that share price goes down and down, I'll keep nibbling and keep building up my positions. Before then, I also had on May 3rd 3 shares purchased at 172.57. So all of these have slowly been able to adjust my cost basis, and I'm able to average down. So I'm loving UPS. As a matter of fact, right now I have a covered call on Best Buy, and I am committed. If my shares of Best Buy get called away, I am going to take that 7,000 plus, and I'm going to go ahead and buy the remaining shares that I have in UPS. So you guys will have to stay tuned as to whether or not I reach the 100 shares before official summertime, but right now I own 65 shares. So to go ahead and conclude things, let's go ahead and give you a nice inside look as to all the premium that I earned this past week. I talked about this in my weekly wheel update. This was one of the best weeks I have ever had when it comes to generating premium. Guys, I personally think it's one of my best weeks that I've ever had. So you guys will have to let me know if you guys are selling covered calls or cash secured puts. What did you guys think about this past week? I personally thought it was a great time to sell cash secured puts, but I could also see how it's also a great time to sell covered calls. I tried to do both. Let's go ahead and give you a look here. And I'm not going to go over every single stock that I sold covered calls on. As you guys know, I own, I think it's 31 stocks in my Robinhood in which I own 100 plus shares. And so if I had it my way, I would be selling covered calls on all 31 of those stocks. I'll tell you right now, not all stocks are created equal when it comes to selling covered calls or cash secured puts. So some of those stocks, I'm not always able to generate the amount of premium that I would like. The week kicked off on May 8th, and you'll see here from May 8th to the conclusion of the week, that was what, 14 contracts I wrote. One of the things that I'm excited about is a newer strategy that I've begun to implement, and that was the Iron Condor. I'm going to go ahead and link 2 YouTube content creators in my description. I think these guys do a fantastic job with explaining and breaking down what an Iron Condor is. I'm going to give you the brief rundown. Essentially, an Iron Condor is very ideal in a neutral market where you have a stock that's not going too far up or too far down. And essentially, when you write a Condor or an Iron Condor position, you are guessing where that stock is going to end up at for the week. So for example, with AVGO, if the current share price is, and this is an example, if it's $600 and I don't think that stock is going to go below $590, or I don't think it's going to go above $610, that's essentially what the Iron Condor is. You are saying you believe this stock is going to finish between these 2 price points. And so I did that this week. I wrote my first one ever on AVGO, and I earned an open premium of $153. And I'll tell you right now, Friday was a roller coaster because this thing was going up, it was going down. So I did decide to buy to close early, and I was was quote unquote only able to net $63, but not bad for my first ever iron condor. I also wrote a couple of traditional covered calls. I was able to close out some positions as well. Google is one that I'm really concerned about. The share price of Google continues to go up. I wish I could see some pullback. I'm very concerned about having my shares called away, but that's okay. I know from experience the best thing that I can do is continue to monitor and always realize that I might have, or I should explore the opportunity of rolling out that position for a better strike price and or a better date. And that's what I've been looking at as well. Pfizer, Amazon, PACW, I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown. I wrote a lot of cash secured puts this past week on this bank, and I'll give you guys a quick rundown. But go ahead and pause the video, take a look here. I also, on the last trading day of this week, I wrote 2 more iron condors, and that was on AVGO to expire next week. And I also wrote one on IWM. These are very much experiments for me. I want to see if I like the iron condor. Obviously, like everything else, you can lose money, but one of the things that I like about the iron condor is rather than losing, what would be the equivalent of, 100 shares, or you'd have to have the cash to cover that, there is a very, very defined loss, and it's not going to be as significant as, let's say, having to have the collateral for 100 shares. Let's go on to cash secured puts, and you guys will see here, PACW, which is Pacific Western Bank, is just getting beat up these past 2 weeks, as all banking institutions are. So I made a decision that I was going to take advantage of these 52-week lows. And not only did I sell a lot of cash secured puts, but I also bought 100 shares, and I began to sell covered calls on my 100 shares, in which my cost basis is $4.69. If you scroll down here, guys, I want you to count the number of cash secured puts that I currently have open. For next week, got 10 contracts that are actively open. For the following week, I have 3 contracts for a $1.50 strike price. And for that same week, I also have 3 additional contracts for a $1 strike price. So is this going to bite me in the long run? We'll see. Currently, if we look at the 52-week data, they've been as high as $32.68, and the 52-week low is $2.48. So of course I'm betting, right, that PACW is not going to fall below that 52-week low. But this week they did see a significant decline of nearly 41%. As a matter of fact, they were as high as, and let's go to this, they were as high as what, $7.48 at the beginning of the week, and they were as low as what, $4.33. So this is definitely one that I'm going to be watching. I do have a lot of money in the form of cash secured puts, but I'm very excited about the amount of premium. So right now in my cash secured put spreadsheet, I have this sorted by date. We're going to go ahead and actually sort this by stock ticker, and I'm going to go down to PACW. I want you to see all of the premium that I earned just from this banking stock, and we're going to go ahead and highlight all of the net premium that I've earned, and you will see in those 22 contracts, I've been able to earn $295. So rather aggressive this week, but I had a goal to make as much as I can in the form of premium. I saw an opportunity with all of the banking institutions being hit pretty dramatically. So we'll see. We'll see if this is a risky play or if this is going to, pay off for me in the long run. Let's go ahead and sort this back on the dates. And then if you guys want, you can scroll to the very bottom and just see everything that I wrote cash secured puts on. PayPal, AMC, TNA, obviously PACW. We've got Carvana in there. We've got TNA. So I wrote a lot of contracts. As a matter of fact, if we just highlight the number of contracts that I wrote the week of the 8th, I was able to generate net premium close to $590, and that's over the course of 32 contracts I wrote just in the past week. So that's going to be a perfect segue to give you guys some updated numbers. As you guys know, I always update the numbers here when I'm creating these videos. So this is going to be what things looked like when I closed things out last week. Let's go ahead and focus on the combined total. Now this is covered calls in cash secured puts. And right now, or as of last week, I had earned $12,837. If we now include the additional stocks that I am running the wheel on, I'm keeping track of them separately, that puts my combined total at $15,000. So let's go ahead and update the spreadsheet and see how much this number is either gone up or gone down. All right, and there you have it. These are the updated numbers. I want to get better about being able to toggle between spreadsheets. So I have a copy created, and then I'm also going to be able to show you what it was last week. Take a look here at last week. Notice February, I had a total of $13,191. That's gone down to $11,257. How could it go down when February was obviously 2 to 3 months ago? Remember, if I write any contract previously and I later have to roll out that position, I'm going to reflect the loss in the month that I originally wrote it. That's why I always focus on the total number, which you can see here is 9712. If we look at the old previous total, it's gone up from 9,111 to obviously 9,712. So we had a pretty good week. Let's go ahead and take a look at cash secured puts. Again, last week, I'd only written a total of 4 contracts, right? Let's go ahead and look at just this week. I obviously wrote 32 contracts. And so we went from $140 that I made in premium selling cash secured puts all the way up to $727. So if we factor in this combined total, if we look at last week, it was at $12,837. We have jumped up to $14,025. That means my monthly average, if we take covered calls and cash secured puts, is now $2,800. Last week was at $2,500. So again, I go back to, if I could make $25 and now it's $2,800 on a monthly basis, that's going to be some fantastic premium, a fantastic percentage, which I'm going to work on getting you guys better percentages of how much I'm making, comparing premium earned to the overall portfolio size. Let's go ahead and conclude things with the combined total. Remember, I'm keeping track of my wheel stocks separately, but in reality, it's all going to be tallied up at the very end. At this very bottom. So last week, you can see here, I had a total of $15,061. Just in the last week, I've gone from $15,000 to now $16,249. Again, I go back to, you guys know why I love selling options. It's because I'm able to generate pretty decent premium on a weekly basis. It's not to say that I don't have down weeks, but I always remember what Brad Finn says, right? You zoom out, you look at not just what you earned or what you lost this week, but you look at total. And I am looking at 2023, and so far I'm at $16,249. Obviously, my goal is to beat what I earned in total. And from 2022, covered calls, cash secured puts, I made a very healthy $53,000. So I think I can exceed that. I will say though, trading options in 2023 is completely different than 2022. We're just not seeing the significant premium. We're not seeing the implied volatility that I would like to see. And it makes sense given the current climate in the market, but that's okay. That's why I'm being very diversified, even with how aggressive I was in cash secured puts. I don't know that these stocks that I'm writing cash secured puts on, I don't know that I would otherwise have purchased those stocks. But nonetheless, we had a great week. I hope you guys are happy with this portfolio update. Let me know down in the comments if you guys had a great week. You guys take care. We'll see you on the next one.